Hey everyone, welcome back to part two for Patagonia tour. We're here back at Melinka and just coming back from town, and we're going to walk down to our Kodiak 100, get her loaded up, and we're going to head out to Tick Tock. That's right. This is going to be a really quick flight. It takes about 45 minutes to get up there, and I'll tell you a little bit about Tick Tock when we're in the air, but just to give you an overview of what's happening here, I'm trying out FS Realistic first-person view. Kind of interesting, little grainy on the resolution, little slow, but it gives a nice bit of immersion here, particularly as we get a little closer to the Kodiak. I can see that this could be a great tool to integrate maybe with pre-flight checks, doing a walk around of the aircraft. But I think in their, I don't know if this is beta, but definitely their first iteration of public access. It's a pretty neat tool. Thought I'd give it a try. Let me know what your thoughts are. FS Realistic, has done a great job with adding some other features too. I think this is their first attempt at this first-person view. So we're going to load up the Kodiak here. Another add-on I'm using is Parallel 42's Camp Out, I think it's called. So I was able to use that add-on to throw those dry bags, jerry cans next to the plane, and again, get those into the cargo, and then use the first-person view just to close that out. So it's kind of nice to be able to operate the doors. Again, gives a little bit of immersion here, kind of playing around with it. So we're here, ready to go. Runway 180, and I'll talk a little bit more about Tick Tock when we're up in the air. Hey folks, so yeah, nice takeoff from 180, and we're going to be heading to northeast, roughly 60 degrees. It's around 45 minutes up to Tick Tock. So on these videos, I try to keep them 10 to 15 minutes. I'm not a big fan of hour-long videos of just flight time. I know on some of the streams there's some really good conversations there. Might try to give that a shot, but trying to highlight some of the nice VFR aspects of these flights. So we're heading up. I'll get the plane situated, coming into Tick Tock here. So interesting thing about Tick Tock is part of the Corcovado National Park, which is around 650,000 acres. Massive place. Part of this tour of Patagonia that I've been putting together is learning a lot about the region. And interesting thing that came up here is Doug Tompkins, the founder of North Face, who passed away. In part of his philanthropy, he had obviously planned where to donate and provide some of his wealth that he'd accumulated through a pretty successful business, and he wanted to be able to reorient the values and give back to I think an area that he really loved. So Corcovado National Park is actually in part protected because of him, and Tick Tock is one of the main areas of access. It's actually the only area that you can access it through air. The Tick Tock portion is around 570 acres. And what I come to find out is there's actually a bit of buildings going on there to make it a bit more accessible. There's a dock that they've added, so really interesting place. Beautiful location. As you can see here, we're coming in northeast. You've got bay off to our right. You've got two river heads that come into Tic Toc Bay, and then you've got the mountains that are just spectacular. And if you stick around to the end, which would be great, I've got a preview of what part 3 is going to be. It's going to be flying north over these mountains. I'm also going to add in some real-life pictures of the Tic Toc Bay. Continue to be impressed with what Microsoft is doing here with bringing these areas that for me are completely inaccessible right now, but really doing something so true to life. We're very close to it, that you get to experience some beautiful locations. So what we're going to do here is start to turn in to the airport. Grass strip, redefine it. 500. And we'll do a flyover. We'll make sure it is free of any animals or other folks that are down there. So you can see here we're banking right onto Final. We've got the riverhead down there, a massive cliff. You know, again, this is what's formed some of this beautiful area, these fjords, the westerly winds bringing in the moist Pacific Ocean air, hitting these vertical cliffs and bringing the moisture up where it just dumps snow, and over the billions of years it's formed these glaciers and fjords and dynamic scenery. So the runway should be visible here. There she is. We'll just do a flyby to make sure we're safe to land, come back around, and get the Kodiak on the ground. Alright, it looks like we've got some visitors down there. We've got 2 aircraft. I think we've got a Cub. And maybe a Super Cub down there. So they're off the runway. We'll be free and clear to come in and put the Kodiak down there, see what they're up to. Alright, so resetting the approach, which is to come into the left side of the bay, pretty close to the hillside. And then you're doing a 10 to 15 degree bank, and that should line you up nicely onto the grass strip. Again, this is part 2. Planning on doing a 10-part series here. Shortly after we land, show you a bit of a preview of part 3, like I mentioned, flying over the snow-covered peaks that you can see off the front. And we're going to head to a small town up about 50 miles north. And then the rest of our trip will be headed south, heading towards southern tip of Chile and Patagonia, going through the southern Patagonia ice fields, some amazing glaciers.
500.
So I'm really excited to do this, learn along the way, and have you guys join me on here. So definitely appreciate the likes, subscribes. Pretty good community here with Flight Sim, and you know, drop some comments if there's some things you'd like to see, things I could do better. Just trying to have some fun here and share some what I think is pretty amazing scenery that again I see is not accessible for me right now in real life, but I can live through Microsoft Simulator pretty easily here. So we're on final, and we'll bring the Kodiak down here. Thanks for watching. There we go. Yeah, we've got our guests over there, the two cubs. So actually, yeah, I used the Parallel 42 add-on, camp out add-on again. I actually had already flown up here, set the little camp space up here. The nice thing is I think you get around 400 credits. You can actually leave these campsites set up, and if they're within that 400 credits, I think that's so you don't just start populating thousands of areas through Microsoft with this stuff. So thanks again for joining, and take a look at the Part 3 preview.